to things like policy and things like data. And it comes to me that we could at least ask ourselves a question when we look at changes here. We could say, what impact would this have, or would it have had, the changes that we're proposing? What impact would it have had on Lisa's story? And maybe none. I mean, not everything is going to relate to that, right? But at least we could ask ourselves, how would her experience have been different? And for instance, perhaps on data, we might ask Lisa's attorney, what kinds of data would have been helpful to support your case? So, you know, that, and then we start relating our policy work, which is kind of nebulous, to a real case history.
Am I going to have any time?
Go ahead. I just wanted to apologize for not personally inviting any of you to come with me when I requested the presence of Judge Simon or Mary Ostad and invited a return to court so we can solve these problems. Because I wasn't trying to have a secret meeting outside of your participation in the COAB or COCO. I just was legitimately very, very concerned, so much so that I came in from Astoria, 100 miles away, and it's very disruptive. I'm very worried about my kombucha mushrooms.
Do we have time for the issue? What? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Different topics, just fine.
So, I've been working with some of the film the policer people and some people from the community to develop policy around filming the police. And so I just wanted to get your guys' input about a couple of these. And some of it mirrors the Austin Police Department.
Forgive me.
So to recommend policy, or policy added to the current manual. So something like the PPP department recognizes that members of the general public have a First Amendment right to video record, photograph, and/or audio record PPP officers while they're conducting official business or while acting in an official capacity in any public space unless such recordings interfere with police activity. Is that something that you guys want to talk about now? Tom, what's your feeling on this? Should I do that?
I have a...
Rochelle?
Are you aware, have you looked at the recent law that was passed regarding filming?
Yes.
It's been a couple months. Do you want to, can I do a bazillion things? Can you, I can't recall it off the top of my head right now.
No, my suggestion would be to look at that, and if there are some things in the law that aren't included in what you want to propose, go for it. But they might be in the law. I'm just not sure because it's a brand new law, and I'm not up on it.
Okay.
Ms. Rochelle, if I might,
Thanks, Tom.
the Americans with Disabilities Act provides plenty of provision for us to have cameras rolling at all times. And the reason that is many people are blind or dyslexic, and the more we can have American Sign Language translator, subtitles for people who don't hear, any kind of translation services, I think we owe a debt of gratitude to each and every wonderful person like Rob West and Felix and Keith. We've got Lauren Vanderlyn with Abstract Eye. We've got Mike Blue Hair sometimes, Mungan Cakes, Mungan Cakes, Mungan Cakes. Well, anyway.
You got Sarah over there.
Sarah Long, new, just met her. I like her. So I think in a lot of ways, if we started looking at gratitude and recognition and say, here are these heroic citizens. Why are they so committed? Why are they so passionate about these issues? To me, this is incredibly inspiring. We are on the West Coast in the Silicon Forest. It isn't like we can roll back time and all become Amish all of a sudden, or Hasidic or whatever. I don't know. This is kind of ridiculous to try to repress this vibrant technology. We're supposed to be opening up democracy across the world in terms of USAID or, our global. That's very arguable, isn't it? Like what we're doing in terms of sharing democracy across the Arab Spring, and then what's the next spring that's happening? Yeah. So this is we are in a sense a pilot program for the world, not just for the United States. Yeah.
So,
Okay, I'm familiar with the law she's talking about. It is legal to film the police as long as you're in a legal area. The problem is if the officer sits there, I'd appreciate if I could finish it out first. If the officer sits there and says that you have to stand 40 feet back, then the way my attorney reads it is that if you don't follow his orders, you can still be arrested for interfering, which I think is straight bullshit.
Yeah, that has to change.
So that's the way the law reads. They can't just come up and arrest you for interfering, but they can give you what they call a reasonable distance, whether it's 10 feet away or 3 blocks, it doesn't matter.
Well, if there's a recommendation that particularly the filmers have on that, I suggest maybe Robert and others and B put something together and bring it back to the subcommittee.
Baldwin said he would have been much more brutal with Ben Pickering. When the same officer who brutalized Lisa was brutalizing Ben 1 year ago on a suicidal homicidal crisis. And he tried to limit my filming, but at the same time later he admitted, well, if your camera wasn't rolling, I would have been a lot more brutal with him. And yeah.
What?
So I can go in great depth about that or send you the links to the video.
So I'm going to unilaterally adjourn the meeting unless there's something
He hurt my friend.
that someone hasn't added that they think is particularly important for tonight, but we're returning to almost all these topics at the next meeting. Lisa?
I just had a question. Is everyone here that's on the board here today?
No.
Okay.
Three of the subcommittee
Are they?
members are off on the call.
Oh, okay, but they're not.
Michelle, myself, and Dave.
Okay. So there's like no requirements that they be at every meeting?
I'm sorry?
There are no requirements that they be at every meeting?
No.
No.
There's too many.
No.
They have, like, the regular general meetings, I think they have 3 excused out.
yeah, I'd like to find out.
Yeah, there's a website that is ever scheduled
You
meeting.
can't, okay, now how do you vote? Like if the community comes and they feel that someone's being biased or they feel that they have too much power or too much control, how do you get them off the board? I mean, if you decide, they're not putting people.
That's a very big issue we're having right now. That's a big issue we're having right now.
Institutional
We can't
problem,
get rid of
we can't weigh it out apparently.
Yeah. Because they have secret
Well, how about we
meetings.
gaslight them on Facebook
Secret
or bully them
meetings.
until they have a mental breakdown, then we can have them arrested via Portland police. Good idea?
Yeah.
COAB.
Whoa.
She's an issue.
She's
One
gonna answer
last,
my question.
No, let's try to.
one last comment.
I just have a question. When did they decide to not involve internal affairs and investigation when people have complaints against the city? When did they decide that?
No one's decided. It's a recommendation to give that to the Independent Police Review Commission as opposed to Internal Affairs.
Do you know why it was done?
Pardon?
Do you know why it was done?
It hasn't been done. That's the recommendation. It's done in some other cities.
Who recommended that?
The COAB.
The COAB is recommending that?
It's a recommendation under consideration.
Now, why would you guys recommend? I just want to know, why would you consider not an internal affairs or police investigators go into this instead of people that have nothing, no skills as far as criminality? How would that be? You want to wait from somebody that's trained to
This
go.
is not the answer, but the perceived problem is the conflict between the police investigating their brothers and sisters.
Okay, makes sense. I just wanted to know what that was.
You need to have trained investigators to do the investigation if it's done outside, no question.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
It's like
Meeting
this.
adjourned.
Would you
Thank you all.
trust the Crips to investigate Crips? Would you trust the Bloods to investigate Bloods? The biggest gangs in this country are police. So why would you trust the police to investigate the police?
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah.